Welcome to episode 1 of Losers of Initiative. This is a podcast where 4 friends play tabletop RPGs, and we release 1 hour-ish episodes weekly. We want to keep the jibber-jabber to a minimum, so we'll make the intro short and sweet.
We wanted to try and do something we believe has never been done before on a podcast. We're going to play one continuous tabletop RPG story spanning several systems, but keeping the same campaign intact. For example, we're going to start the campaign playing a homebrew, 1st edition advanced Dungeons & Dragons game, but through the course of play, the characters may end up in a space, or Wild West, or even Cyberpunk, and the tabletop system that applies to that setting.
We also don't want to bog down gameplay like we're doing with this intro, so any additional information can be found on the Brad Explains episodes we release periodically. If you think of a question or have a topic for Brad to explain, just message or email us, losersofinitiative@gmail.com, or search and message us on Facebook.
We would also like to take a quick second to give a huge shout out to Sirenscape for all of our background music and sound sets we use in all of our episodes. So go check them out. Don't forget to also check out our sweet website we've created at losersofinitiative.podbean.com. Or just put Losers of Initiative Podbean into that Google machine of yours. Lastly, as a big favor, and to help us reach more listeners, we ask that you swing by iTunes, Spotify, Google Music, Podbean, or whatever the kids are listening to nowadays, to rate, review, subscribe, follow, or whatever that podcast platform needs to know that you care. That's enough talk. Let's begin the adventure. We join the party in the city of Gorna. After completing a quest for the Grand Duke of Geoff, the party relaxes for the evening with drinks at the local tavern. Ovak is awoken the next morning to a loud knock on the door.
What's going on?
And you see Grug he's apparently had stumbled into your room at some point in the night.
Okay.
But he is lying naked, face down, over in kind of the side and corner of your room, naked and face down. He's got an empty ale mug in his hand.
Grug wishes you good morning.
What are you doing here? I cover him up instantly.
Right. And as you get up to cover him up and you turn to the door and it opens and you see Zerosi standing there with one of the ducal guards. And Zerosi kind of comes in with the ducal guard, and the guard speaks up. He says, "I have a message from His High Radiance. He wishes to see you immediately. He has a very important issue that must be discussed in person." And so he leads you out, after Grug gets dressed, puts some clothes on, at least a little bit at least.
Some
clothes, yeah. He leads you to the chambers, the chamber meeting hall of the Grand Duke, who is there, and he's dressed rather informally, perhaps hastily, some would say, and he's by himself. There's his usual accompaniment of guards and whatnot are not there, and he has a worried look on his face, very concerned look on his face. And then you notice that a smaller figure stands nearby, very plainly dressed. And as you come in, he dismisses the guard that led you there and says, "Friends, please, come here. I have dire news that needs to be shared. A messenger has arrived recently from Sterich, the yeomanry, Istavan in particular. And, I guess I shall let him speak." And the plain-dressed individual speaks up, and he introduces himself, and he says, Good lords, good sir, I have traveled far with a message, and the Grand Duke has informed me that you 3 would be the ones that I must deliver this message to. And at that, his voice changes. He closes his eyes and stiffens. The tone of his voice changes deeper and thicker, becoming that of an older man. "I am the voice of Viscount Javan, Through my chosen instrument, I speak to you. By hearing these words, you shall know that my son has found those with the strength to face the tale I tell. Evil times have befallen the lands of my liege, the Earl of Sterich. Our homes, the lands of a strong and free people, have lived for centuries in the shadow of the great western mountains. We have defended ourselves from those enemies that would come from the west. Our swords and our lances have been our strength. But now our strength is weak. Greater force than that which we can contend descends upon us. Giants roam our homelands, driving us further from our western borders. Dark figures ride in the night. The wise among us feel plots unfolding beyond our understanding. We are in need of those such as yourselves. My son has chosen you to hear my words. I pray that he has chosen wisely. We plead for your aid. Tell my son you will hear our plea. Journey to Istavan in the earldom of Sterich, that you may save us. The speech ends, and the messenger opens his eyes and shakes his head. I know not what has transpired here, but act as my father bid me. Now by his command I must await your word, for one day I shall remain here, then must again undertake my wanderings. He bows his head and steps back. The Grand Duke looks you all over and says, These words come from a good friend of mine. The Viscount of Istavan and I have traveled together long ago, and I feel a debt is owed to him. It would not only be a service to him, but as a service to me as well, if you would assist in this undertaking.
So I approach, step out, because I'm assuming we're in a line.
Yeah, you three are kind of standing back a little bit.
So I step out, and I kneel down. I pledge my hammer to this quest.
Grug's gonna kneel as well, but he doesn't know why. Grug follow Ovac.
Does it seem awkward that they're kneeling for this?
Ceremonially, it doesn't feel awkward. I mean, this obviously is, you can tell by his countenance that the Grand Duke is very distraught over this message.
I'll do the same. I'll kneel along. I'm along for this fight.
Thank you, friends. I knew that I could count on you in a time of need. You have always been a great asset to us here, and I treasure you greatly. I want to make sweet, slow, passionate love to you.
Grug-like.
So, with your acceptance, the messenger, the son messenger, he greatly, he's like, oh, thank you, good sirs. I must continue my journeys, however, looking for more to aid us, for the situation is indeed dire. And he bows before the Grand Duke and makes his exit. And the Grand Duke, looks you over and says, I know there is nothing that you will need from me other than my leave to begin your journey, which you three have. Good luck. Travel with whichever gods that you follow.
In awkward silence.
Yeah, well, I was like, do we actually need anything?
No, you're pretty well equipped, so I doubt. Grug probably needs, 3 entire cooked chickens.
Yeah.
And Zrosi needs...
Grug hungry for breakfast.
Zrosi needs 1 slice of unbuttered toasted bread.
All right, we ready to roll?
Yeah, let's get out of here.
All right, so you guys don't really need anything. You probably have all the gear that you need. You just need to head out on the road to Sterich. All right, so you're familiar enough with the lands to know that Gorna is just north. The Grand Duchy of Geoff is just north of Sterich. It's not that far of a journey. You just have to cross the Stark Mounds, which is sort of like a spur of the Crystalmas Mountains. The Crystalmas Mountains are like the huge mountain chain that runs kind of like the Andes or the Rockies or the Himalayas. It's this really huge, tall mountain range that pretty much forms the western border of the Grand Duchy of Geoff, Sterich, the Yeomanry, all these kingdoms and earldoms and fiefdoms and all that stuff. But the Stark Mounds is just like a spur that sticks out. So it's just a quick hop over the Stark Mounds, cross a major river, and then you're into Sterich. Okay? So it's a pretty well-traveled road. No big deal. So should be quite uneventful, so you think, as you set off. So your party crosses the last of the low hillocks, and you see spread before you the wide, muddy flow of the Javan River, the longest in this part of the world. The normally rich banks are crowded with a city of dirty tents and hastily built shelters, as if an entire city had decided to go adventuring. A similar collection of muddy colors dots the far shore. Between the shores is a steady line of rafts and small craft, hauling people from the far side to the near side. All right, so you guys are, that's what you see spread out before you is just a whole mass of people. It looks like they all seem to be, all the river crossings full of, the ferry boats are full and the small craft are all full, bringing people from the far shore to the near shore.
Are we on the near shore?
You're on the near shore, yeah. They're fleeing away from the way you're going.
And did you say this river is like on the border between
Yeah, it basically forms the border between the Grand Duchy of Geoff and Sterich.
And this isn't a common thing.
No.
Okay.
No.
I feel like the situation might be worse off than we thought.
Grug curious, what's going on?
I feel like they might be fleeing from the giants that are attacking.
Giants and dark riders, they talked about. Well, we can go into the camps and ask for their telling.
Grug think it's a nice day. Maybe they swim.
I bet they could swim, but they probably have all of their belongings with them, and they don't want to get those wet.
Grug think that bad.
So yeah, let's go down to the tent city.
All right. So, yeah, you guys are definitely feeling a little out of place just because everyone you see is just like a dirty, muddy farmer type, packed up everything they had and headed out. There's not like a group of adventurers or anything, so you guys are very out of place, and people, you're getting a lot of looks of some distressful, some like, are they going to attack us? Why are they here? Some hopeful looks of, like, oh, yay, they're coming to help.
Does it seem as if this is being directed by anyone? Like there are guards or anything kind of, or just these people all happen to meet up?
Correct.
Like, well, we're all going the same way.
You see several people have actually set up shop here to kind of take advantage of this situation. Several merchants have thrown up quick tents and are, selling extremely overpriced supplies. And Zerosi, as a practitioner of the shady arts, you notice that there are several, less than savory characters that are probably preying on these unwary travelers.
And Zerosi disappears from the party.
Well, you also realize that there's probably nothing that they have that's worth anything.
Yeah, I know. It was a joke.
Oh, God.
Ruined the joke.
All right. So what do? You're milling about.
I'm going to run up. Well, not run. I'm going to walk up to the first merchant I see and just plainly ask him what's going on.
Okay. As a well-equipped person that you are, walking up to this merchant, his eyes widen greatly, and he's like, ha! Good sir, what can I interest you in today?
Do you happen to know why everyone is trying to cross the river?
All right, and at that, when you say that, he kind of like a "Are you serious?" look crosses his face, like you are jesting, no doubt.
No, I'm not. I'm genuinely curious as to why everyone is running.
Ah, well, those that live in the western part of Sterich are fleeing the giant raiders, and those fleeing the capital city of Istavan, Well, they are fleeing for a different reason. There is a great evil has fallen the city, a blackness that threatens to consume the world.
I see.
Does the river crossing look like treacherous? Because it's muddy water, that usually means it's kind of fast running, but it could just be muddy waters. I don't know. Does it look dangerous for the people coming across?
No. The water's muddy from, just massive amounts of people traversing it. The shores are muddy. Even where you're at in the tent village, the ground is just trampled beyond belief, and it's all like torn up and muddy. And
so, most importantly, I just don't want to get off my horse.
so you're staying on your
On my high horse?
elven horse, yeah.
So is the road pretty packed up until this point? Because I've been summoned to help defend against the giants and the blackness that you speak of. And I just want to get to combat as quickly as possible. And
Well, good sir, I'm sure there is no shortage of fighting going on along the western borders. But if you choose to do so, surely you will need some of these supplies. And he kind of gestures over to what he's selling, and it's the absolute lowest grade, shoddy materials that he's got, worn, threadbare ropes and, rusty climbing gear and just horrible stuff.
I look over it real quick, and this is all trash.
Oh, surely you jest, good sir. This is the finest wares that you will find on these banks, for sure.
I feel like you should probably pick up shop because you're just preying upon these poor, helpless people.
Oh, you've offended me, sir, but
That was my intent.
I take it in good stride. If I cannot assist you finding anything, perhaps you should move on.
I'm already walking away. Bye-bye.
Grug has kind of meandered down the line a little bit and is just perusing the shops, if you will.
Okay.
Is he finding anything of interest or of shiny?
No.
Okay.
I mean, most of the shops are selling what you would consider like adventuring gear, but for very exuberant prices and very shoddy stuff.
Okay. Grug follow Ovac, so...
Okay. So, you're milling about for a little while. You're sticking basically together. At one of the moments where you're all together talking, you notice that a lone rider approaches. He is very, military looking. He's got the black lion on red on his shield, which is the symbol of the royal house of Keoland. Now, Keoland is the kingdom that is like the head kingdom of which, like, the Grand Duchy swears fealty to him. The Earl of Sterich swears fealty to him. He's the king over all these other lands around. And, one of his knights, perhaps, you're guessing, since he bears the heraldry of the king, comes approaching directly at you. And he kind of stops and looks you over, and he says, "Adventurers, I have a message." And he unfurls a scroll and begins reading. "To all who hear this proclamation, who are good and strong fighters, mighty and knowledgeable wizards, proverbially wise sages and clerics, or masterly thieves who use their abilities in the service of goodness and justice, heed the words of His Peerless Majesty, Cumberto Scotti, King of Keoland, Lord of the Grand March, Plar of Sterich, and the Protector of the South, through this humble spokesman. The land of Sterich has been placed in dire danger that exceeds the abilities of ordinary levies and mercenary troops to contain. Foul witcheries and great malign magics have conspired to destroy this noble state. It is therefore my wish, and thus my will, that all such goodly men and women, and those of demi-human standing, hie with all due haste to Istavan to aid in repelling of this great danger. To those who choose to come to the aid of this land in its time of need shall be rewarded with the treasure of the creatures they defeat, without tax or surcharge by the crown. Those who choose to abandon this land in its time of need, or flee, or aid the forces of darkness, will be cursed in the eyes of the kingdom and held as traitors. By my hand, my wish and will, and with the stamp of the signet ring that is the seal of my power, Cumberto Scotti, King of Keeland, Lord of the Grand March, Plar of Sterich, and Protector of the South. And he rolls the scroll back up and looks you over very sternly, as if enough has been said.
We hear the call and have already been tasked with this by the Grand Duke of Geoff, and we are headed that way now, if you can lead us in the fastest direction.
I will not be able to lead you, but I can direct you southward. Follow the road, and most likely the trail of refugees fleeing Istavan. That will be the most direct route. And everyone stares blankly.
Yeah.
Very well, good sirs. I wish you the utmost of haste in our time of need. And he rides off.
I bid you adieu.
He's riding off.
You can just cut that in somewhere.
All right.
So you know that it's probably, another couple days before you get there, following the road that leads pretty much directly south from where you're at to the city of Istavan. Now, Istavan is a much larger city than Gorna. Sterich. It's the same kind of people, sort of rustic. I almost want to say like Viking-y type people live here. But it's much larger. The populations are much greater in all the towns, villages, and cities. It's more urban, even though it's not really urban. All right, so you head south. So after about a day or so of travel, you see a village up ahead that's been established off the road. This isn't a tent village. This is more of a permanent village. It's been here, for years and years. And you're looking, end of the first day. I'm going to say it's the end of the first day. And you're looking for a place to rest, so you're going into the village. Perfect timing. Perhaps you'll find an inn. As you enter, the villagers to the villagers, it's obvious that the PCs are obviously important and powerful adventurers. Normally, their arrival would be a point of interest, but here you're greeted with fearful looks and sullen glowers. No one approaches them or talks cheerfully to them. Women protectively hustle their children away from the adventurers. Men stop their work to stare at the player characters as they pass. You've got no trouble finding the village inn. It's bright, and it's a bright and gaudy place. Outside, in the shade of an old elm, a group of rough-looking men drink and bowl. Several ne'er-do-wells lounge on the benches scattered about the yard. Inside, the inn is lively and gay. A sassy serving wench whisks through the tables, countering indelicate compliments and suggestions with biting wit. A game of bones is played at one table with furious zeal. The innkeeper has just finished tapping another barrel of ale when the characters enter. The common room quiets for a second as the crowd surveys the new arrivals, and then falls back into its noisy habits.
As soon as I see the keg of beer being tapped, I just clap my hands together. I will be right back, my friends.
Grug's going to make his way up to the bar as well.
I'm going to work to find us a table.
Okay.
And I approach the bartender, and I would like 3 of your finest ales, I guess.
Very well, good sir. 3 finest ales coming up. He turns and gets them.
Grug need 2 more, please.
5 altogether, then. 5 I can do.
Grug thinks hard for a second, but he's not sure if that's right.
Okay, so he presents you with 5 ales. He's like, that'll be 5 copper pieces, please.
I will give you 1 silver piece.
Ah, very generous of you. Thank you, good sir. Enjoy your stay. Try not to cause any trouble, though.
Oh, we will not. I just have one question. Why is everyone a little turned off against newcomers in the town?
We don't like those that cause trouble here. So please keep to yourselves as much as you can.
Grug no cause trouble.
Ah, then everything will be fine. Here's your ales. I've got things to do. Sorry, good sir.
Thank you.
And he walks away.
Thank you.
All right, so Zerosi, you've got a table set. Room for everybody, the 3 of you. It's very crowded in here, but you were able to get a table. And Ovac you see where Zerosi sitting, and you go join him. And you settle, and you're drinking your ales. Grug, very wide and tall Grug, has a hard time but in the crowded place, but he's there. Everybody's kind of making room for him as he's making his way through the crowd.
If Grug bumps anybody on the way through, he's very apologetic, though. Grug, sorry. Grug, no mean bump. Grug, sorry.
All right, so as you're getting settled, a small scene erupts at an adjacent table. A rough-looking fellow, none too handsome, and a bit done in for drink, perhaps, is getting a little too forward with one of the serving wenches. She makes it clear with a slap across his face that she wants nothing to do with him, but he only gets meaner and more demanding. This is obviously not the way a gentleman should treat a lady, and no one in the place is doing anything about it. All the other customers make pained efforts not to notice what is happening. So people that do see it kind of turn their head away and, like pretend to not notice what's going on, and he's getting real grabby with her, and she slaps him and says, "Leave me alone, leave me alone."
I knock back my ale and I slam it down on the table, and I just start making my way over there.
Okay, well, it's actually at an adjacent table.
Just right next door?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Does the guy doing this, is there anything significant about him?
He's a big fella. He's a big fella. Not as
but
big.
He just still looks like another one of the townspeople.
No, he's got like a suit of like rough leather armor, looks like, battle worn leather armor, and he's got actually a sword by his side.
Okay, so I walk over to him.
I guess we're right there. I was gonna say I'll stay close.
Yeah, you're all at the adjacent table. So seriously, Ovac, all you got to do is just kind of push your chair back, stand up, and turn around, and you're
okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was on what side of the table.
You're right there. Okay. So he's like, you like it.
Stand aside, sir. Leave her alone. If you have a single problem with her, you gotta go through me first.
Okay. So, a general hush immediately falls over the whole tavern, and the barmaid scampers away quickly as he just kind of, his laughing, jeering face turns rather serious all of a sudden. He kind of looks over. He goes, "What are you gonna do, little man?"
Is he like slurring his speech? He said he was a little under
you're just assuming that he's probably intoxicated. I mean, he's not to the point where he's like slurring and wobbly.
Okay, I turn to the bartender. "Do not worry, I will take him outside." And then I turn to him and I go, "Meet me outside. Catch me outside. How about that?"
While he's turned to the bartender and everyone's clearly got their attention focused on him, I want to try to, without drawing attention to myself, cast sleep on the guy that was causing the problems.
Grug hasn't stood up yet. He's just drinking his beer, listening.
Okay.
He's the reinforcement that needs to settle things if it needs
right,
to.
Yeah, this guy's a good 6'1".
Yeah.
And the goal is even while he's like turned talking to the bartender.
Well, the bartender is also just like the rest of the tavern, not wanting anything to do. He's pretending it's not. He turns around, he's wiping down the mirror or something behind the bar. He
just didn't want to have people causing problems in his establishment.
He just said that to you, yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I wanted to clarify that I'm not going to cause problems in here. But I'm going outside.
Right, but apparently, I mean, you're pretty wise, and Zerosi, you're pretty smart. Apparently, this guy has some sort of thing because the bartender who was really serious about don't cause problems is like pretending he's just letting him cause problems apparently.
How about we act like gentlemen and handle this outside?
I would if you were a gentleman, little fella. Looks like you're a little kid. Oh, you got your nice little shiny suit of armor.
Do you have a problem fighting children? And I parentheses around the children with my fingers.
Yeah, I got a problem fighting kids. What do you think I am? So, Zerosi, you kind of, even though the crowd has gotten very silent, you under your breath almost as sneakily as possible, throw out a sleep spell. Okay? It doesn't seem to have any effect on this guy.
Interesting. I don't know that, but interesting. Grug has no idea about that.
Grug's still just drinking, like, whatever. They can handle it.
Yeah, he's so from Grug's standpoint, he's sitting there just kind of drinking his ale, listening the whole time. He knows Ovac can handle it, but if the Ovac needs backup, he'll be standing up and beating a couple heads and then sitting down and drinking again.
Why don't you just drop down to your knees and then we'll be on the same playing field?
Hey, funny you should mention that. Since you're already down there, why don't you play on some field yourself?
And then I just punch him in the side of the knee, like kind of, I don't know, like.
Okay. So go ahead and just roll a d20 for me.
17.
Okay. So you hit him, and your strength is what?
It's 18. 19.
19. Yeah, you have the girdle of hill giant strength.
Yep.
Do you not? So you 19 strength punch this dude in the side of the knee, and he just collapses like a freaking rag doll to the floor. Kablow! Son of a you're gonna pay for this. And he quickly, mind you, scampers out, limping severely as he shoots out the front door.
Sit back down with your ale.
Yeah, you've won a victory. As he runs out the front door, you thinking to yourself, "Huh."
Yeah, I just sit back down and just
order
another round.
Yeah.
Order for everyone to clear it up. You got the gold.
Yeah.
Grug's gonna kind of take a drink of his beer, set it down, and be like, "Everything go okay?
Yeah, the winter's fine.
Sounds good.
Yeah, actually,
keep drinking."
I think that's a good enough idea that as soon as he sits down, and I kind of want to ease the tension, I'm just going to say, another round for everyone.
All right. Well, during the confrontation, the entire inn fell silent, except for the clink of the innkeeper's cups as he's busily trying to do whatever he was doing. Everyone pretends not to notice what was going on while watching the scene out of the corners of their eyes. When it's all over, there's a strained attempt to regain the gaiety and cheer of the inn. However, it is never quite the same. A strained, forced edge creeps into everything. Okay? And after Zerosi stands up and says, a round for everyone, no one responds. Everybody just kind of keeps to themselves.
Kind of like they know that he was a bad mamma jamma and
something.
We shouldn't have messed with him.
However, there is one person who was not forgotten. The gallantry of the player characters. The serving wench comes up to you with a big grin on her face and 3 more mugs full of ale. This one's on me, good sirs, though I fear your kindness will be poorly repaid. She sets the drinks down, and as you take them and you're kind of curious as like what's going on, she notices that, and she's like, you do not understand, do you? You're not leaving town? Well, I appreciate what you've done, but you've earned no friends here. They, she says with a nod toward everyone else, they would just as soon you let me alone. Look at them. They're all scared out of their wits. You stood up to Owlbear, one of Big Johann's band. You can bet that he's going to come back. And a man at a nearby table leans over and speaks up. Indeed it's so, you meddling strangers. You've more than likely doomed us all. When Big Johann and his men hear what has happened, they'll come for their revenge, and they'll take it out on us. By now, from this conversation, you can hear voices of bitterness and discontent throughout the inn. To the minds of the locals, the outcome is certain. Big Johann, apparently some local bandit or warlord, and his men are going to return and punish the town.
Do not worry, I will not let them harm you. We are here to restore order.
A lot of talk now. Wait till Big Johann gets here.
Yes, just you wait. He will no longer be Big Johann.
Your talk doesn't really seem to give them any faith as they begin looking. Many scowls and frowns and sideways glances are getting shot in your direction.
I feel like...
Perhaps you should leave the inn.
I feel like we are unwanted here, and we should head on out for the night.
Grug just thirsty.
So after we leave, or as we're leaving, wherever I see an opportunity, I would like to actually slip away and try and find that server again to get more information from her. Like, if I can catch her at a point where she's not surrounded by everybody, or even if I have to kind of.
Well, you guys are making your way out. You don't see her around. Apparently, her openness in welcoming you and thanking you has gotten her reprimanded or something, because she is now no longer on the floor.
Okay, so yeah, we're just gonna head on out, and because this isn't the inn. We didn't pay for any rooms or anything like that.
Right, you just went in, bought some beer, and caused trouble.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It was
a little bit.
It was trouble.
And not us, Nate.
It was trouble that needed to happen. These bandits are preying upon this town.
We're about to prey upon them bandits.
Lawful good cleric here.
Stupid damn clerics.
You're chaotic neutral, so you're like, why did you have to get involved? All right. So you go out. So what do you decide to stick around to see if he comes back, or?
No, if everyone is this afraid of him, then they're going to tell him where we are, because someone's going to see us. Like, they're not going to stand up to him and be like, no, I didn't see him.
Oh, yeah, they'll rat you out faster than try to save their own skins.
But that's if they have the opportunity to. It's quite possible that he'll just show up and just start hitting. Like, I think we should get some information about Big Johann, and
maybe from a different shop or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, word has already spread. Like, when you go outside, people are like shutting their windows and locking their doors.
Well, and I feel like Ovac, being lawful good, would want to stick around and make sure all the people are protected.
Yeah, that's true.
No, word of the king. We gotta go.
It's Rosie.
Yeah,
so we'll hang around. I don't really know where, though.
Yeah, this is the only inn.
Yeah, it's not. It's a decent sized town, but it's also a very big inn, so it's the only one in town. You can, your horses are out front. You can just kind of, you don't know how long it's going to be, but waiting around in town, shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, we'll just hang out, like ready our horses and stuff for the day.
After a couple of hours of you just kind of waiting in town, sure enough, you hear from not the street you're on, but one of the other main streets in town. You hear a very deep voice. Where are they?
So I'm gonna start heading off to where I think the voice originated from.
Okay, you guys all follow him?
Grog follows Ovac.
Yeah, but I'm gonna follow from the shadows.
So Zerosi kind of like takes a different alley approach than you guys, who just kind of go down the street. And all of you see, as you're approaching the street that apparently Big Johann's on, you see a Mastodon, a large elephant, with a frost giant riding it.
Yeah.
And he's wielding a big axe by his side. He's got a very angry look on his face, and you notice around him are 4 of the largest ogres you've ever seen, kind of standing around him as well. And he's looking around, and once again, where are they? And the few remaining people that were on the streets just disappear, just run into their shops or houses or whatever, as you come out of the street that was connecting.
I give Grug a little nudge, and I go, "Are you ready for this?"
Grug always ready for combat.
Let's get to it. And I just, before Johann even notices us, do I see him?
Yeah, because he's in the middle of the street on a big, huge Mastodon, and he's this big guy.
How far away is he?
I'm gonna say probably about 100 feet.
Okay, I'm gonna move up till I'm about 60 feet away.
He'll see you then, but...
Okay. He doesn't know.
Well, one look at you and he'll know.
Yeah, we don't fit in here. Not like we blend in.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna tell Grug to wait. Just hang into the back. I'm gonna go out. Just hang back here real quick. I want the element of surprise, because they're gonna come towards me, and they will probably laugh at me when I go alone out there to front them.
Grug nods. Grug, wait for Ovac signal.
Okay, and Zerosi, the side alley that you took actually puts you closer to them. So they're gonna, as Ovak would move toward them and they move toward Ovak, that'll kind of put them almost parallel with you. You know what I mean? They're gonna be passing the alley that you're in. So.
Okay, and I'm just gonna stay hidden in the alley.
Okay, so Ovak, you come out and they immediately notice you, and Johan goes, "You're in for it now, little man," and he kind of starts moving the Mastodon slowly, very slowly in your direction, and the 4 ogres, they ready their weapons as well. And you notice the ogres are typically very ill-equipped, unintelligent, oafish. But these ogres actually they have like armor that has been made for them, and they are wielding pretty decent-looking weapons from what you can tell. So, and as they begin moving, the ogres kind of move out in front a bit from Johan as you begin walking.
Okay, so as I see the ogres coming towards me, I just yell at Johan. I challenge you, Johan, not your minions. If you do not have the balls to attack me on your own, and we settle this man to man, then...
Okay, with that, the ogres move in to attack you. So go ahead and roll initiative.
Everybody or just him?
Just him.
So real quick, how far is Grug from Ovak? Because Ovak's 60 feet
Yeah,
from...
about 20 feet. He didn't get very far.
Okay.
Okay, so we went ahead and rolled initiative.
Okay, I got a 5.
All right, you beat Big Johan and the ogres.
So I just cock my arm back and I give Grug a little nod, and I just throw my hammer at the first ogre.
Okay, so go ahead and roll a 2-hit.
Armor class -9.
That's a square smack right in its chest. So the damage is going to be tripled with your dwarven throwing hammer.
Okay, so I do 13 damage times 3.
39.
Yep.
39 to the ogre. It kills it in one blow, so you hear the sickening crunch as his entire sternum and ribcage collapse in, and he just falls limp immediately to the ground. And the other, I mean, and it kind of like sends like once again like a shock wave out as it hits, and nothing that's gonna like knock people over or do damage, but noticeable. So the other 3 ogres, stop in their tracks and kind of get wide-eyed. A panic look falls their faces, and Big Johan just yells, "Ah! Get him!" And the ogres basically lose their turn from that turmoil. Big Johan, however, with that yell, reaches down into one of the saddlebags, picks up a dwarf-sized boulder, and just hurls it at you. And you're close, and you were kind of close to one of the shops, and it smashes into the shop, knocking a big hole in it. Shards of wood go showering out of it, and he's like, very angrily, makes loud noises. So now we're gonna go with a new round. The ogres get to act now. They're that one round of shock from your hammer. And now remember, you can't use your hammer this round because it takes a round to come back and kind of ready.
All right.
So we're going to roll initiative. Everyone is involved now.
6.
13.
5.
All right, 10. All of the bad guys got a 10. So Ovak loses initiative, and everyone else wins.
Yep.
Okay, so Grug, since you're in standard melee, I'll let you go first. Now, the ogres they're about 20 feet from Ovak, who was 20 feet from you, so they're 40 feet away. In one round, you can move 40 feet. So since you're a barbarian, you have increased movement. Your movement rate is 15, which translates to you can move 40 feet and attack, or you can move 80 feet and just do a full movement.
So Grug's going to take his half movement, jump up in the air so that he's basically face-to-face with the next ogre, and bring his bastard sword two-handed down onto the top of the ogre's skull, basically.
Sounds frightening, but go ahead. So make your standard 2-hit roll.
Armor class 0.
Armor class 0. That's a hit.
Oh, okay, good. I was scared there for a second.
So you do 2d8 plus 9 damage to the top of the ogre's skull.
Ooh.
20 damage.
20 damage. That does not kill the ogre, but you definitely ruined his day.
So I would like to drop a fireball right on top of this frost giant.
Okay, yeah, that's... He doesn't know you're there since... So, yeah, he's like... Your alley was closer, like I said, so he's kind of on the Mastodon, kind of in front of the alleyway, not even noticing you, heading toward. So, take him utterly by surprise, landing a fireball right on him and the Mastodon.
So now we have to calculate damage. I need a bunch of d6.
So your fireball lands 40 damage to the Mastodon and the Frost Giant, pending saving throws. Okay, and alerting them to your presence. All right, now it is their turn.
He has presence?
Yes, Zerosi has presence. They're in the form of fireballs.
Oh.
All right, so the ogres charge. They charge Ovac. Three ogres. Actually, 2 ogres charge Ovac. One is kind of busy fighting a barbarian.
Bastard.
His face.
Sword to the face.
2 ogres charge Ovac. Armor class -2 and -4.
Both hits.
And then one of the ogres fights against -9.
Hit.
Okay, so all 3 of the ogres successfully hit. I was surprised by that. Okay. So, Ovac, you were hit twice. Twice, Ovac. 14 damage.
Oh my god.
Oh, that goes down.
And Grug was only hit once for 14 damage.
That's typical for those at home.
All right. And the giant Big Johann throws another boulder at the annoying dwarf. Even though he just got hit by a fireball, he seems to just, maybe he's thinking it came from you somehow or something. He's not the brightest. But he hurls another boulder in your direction. That one might hit. -6 is a hit.
Yeah, that's a hit.
So the boulder smashes down on you, barely missing the ogres that were fighting. 11 more points of damage from the boulder.
All right.
You kind of raised your shield. You have a shield. Yeah, you raised your shield and it kind of absorbed a lot of the blow of the boulder, but it still hurt your arm quite a bit.
The shield hitting into me after
Right.
a boulder hits it does
Correct,
more
yeah.
damage.
So the ogres are pounding on you. You get hit by a boulder, and you're like, ah! Resilient little dwarf bounces back. So your hammer does find its way back to your hand through all that chaotic mess of ogres and boulders. So you catch your hammer. Can't use it this round, but you can do a movement action. Since you can't cast because you were hit this round.
Yep.
You can't attack with your hammer because you're retrieving it this round.
And I got 2 ogres next to me.
Yeah, 2 ogres are kind of, on either side of you, in front of you, banging on you with their,
So yeah, I'm going to move 45 feet, like the opposite way that I was coming, like just to get out, because...
Away from Big Johann?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he just got hit. I want to put a little bit of distance for boulder throwing from him, because technically I have 3 people attacking me.
Right. And just from your quick mental calculations, Big Johann will be able to throw a boulder much farther than you will be able to throw a hammer.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you just kind of go what looks like to Grog and Zerosi into full retreat.
It would appear that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't actually see them. I'm in the alley.
That's true. That's true. Well, no, you're curious enough where you've kind of moved up to the end of the alley so you can see if your companions need help. You know what's going on with them.
Nah. You don't care about no companions.
Nah.
All right, so time to roll initiative. I got an 8.
10.
5.
13.
All right, so Ovac, you want initiative. Lead us off.
Okay, so I'm just going to chuck my hammer.
After
Again.
the closest ogre, one of the 2 that were fighting you, who are pursuing you, but you get to go first.
That is -9.
A solid hit again.
And that is 16 times 3.
48.
Ow.
Another ogre collapses to the ground with a crunching sound.
Can
of
this one
bones.
hit him in the face this
Right
time?
in the face. It drove.
Beautiful.
It didn't drive his nose bone into his brain. It drove it out the back of his head.
Yeah, because, I mean, into the brain, it would have to kind of be upside down and come in upwards.
You like crushed it all in. His face is
Beautiful.
like caved in.
He's fugly.
Well, they're ogres. They're already fugly.
Okay.
All right. So with that, the other ogre was running, so he didn't get to see what he heard. He heard the crunching, but he didn't get to see what happened to his friend. And he attacks you and misses horribly. And now, the other ogre attacks Grug. That misses also. Armor class 5. Yeah. Positive 5.
Oh.
5.
Okay,
5
yeah.
means 5,
Yeah,
not
gotcha.
negative 5.
Miss.
And now, Big Johann is throwing another boulder. He seems to be ignoring where that fireball came from. Maybe he does think it came from the dwarf. Ah!
I mean, it makes sense. I throw a hammer. I could throw fireballs.
So he's thrown 3 boulders. I rolled 2 1s.
These shops don't stand a chance.
Well, this one, okay, so he throws a third boulder, and it just, like, smashes into the ground near you and just bounces and rolls past harmlessly, unless you are the road. And, yeah, by the way, the Mastodon that he was on, he's kind of stopped moving forward. He moved forward a little bit more, but has stopped moving forward.
Okay.
Is Grug in between 2 of the ogres?
Yes, one is in melee with him, and the other one is about 40 feet behind him now.
Oh, but I mean, I couldn't hit both in this one round.
No.
Oh, okay. So Grug's going to attack the ogre that's in front of him
Okay.
previously. But he's going to take his shield out and ready it as his move action.
So he's going to attack the ogre and then ready his shield.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Mother.
Should have just attacked.
Armor class 1 is a miss.
Armor class 1.
Okay, armor class 1 is a miss. These ogres apparently are armor class 0.
Apparently.
Been keeping track.
I'm going to drop another fireball.
Another fireball.
He's not paying any attention to me.
He probably will now.
Good. No, not good.
Okay, so another fireball hits the Mastodon, and
If there's stuff
Big
in
Johann.
this alley, I'll try and like dip behind it after the fireball.
I'm assuming you shoot and hide.
40 damage,
40 damage.
and then hide.
So the Mastodon is very charred, like, you know, because they're kind of furry, fuzzy, hairy.
He's
whatever.
not on fire. His hair's not.
No, it's
burning.
it's all singed off though, and yeah, and Big Johann actually has to struggle a little bit to keep it under control. So obviously he's angry that you've hit him with a second fireball, and he looks in your direction. All right,
The Mastodon or Big Johann?
Big Johann.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so now it is initiative time. All right, initiative rolls. What do we got? Go.
7.
7.
12.
12.
9.
9. And I got 15, so you all win initiative.
Huzzah!
Okay, so let's start with the distance fight. Ovac, you will have one ogre fighting you,
Okay.
and you're about, well, you're 45 plus, you're probably about 100 feet from Big Johann.
Okay, and then I'm probably 45-ish
Yeah,
from...
45, 50
Grug.
feet from Grug.
Okay, I'm going to make my way
You're
back
just
to
going to
Grug.
ignore the ogre that's there with you.
You get to Grug. Grug make both attack on 2 ogre.
And that's kind of what I was thinking is...
Grug
that-
like to hit 2 ogre.
So yeah, I run towards Grug.
Okay, so you use your full round to move toward Grug
Yep.
and catch your hammer, and now you're there. Okay.
Just a dwarf running back and forth.
Yeah.
It's a running dwarf. All right. So, Grug.
Can I delay?
Yeah. All right, Zerosi.
So you said he started to look over.
Yeah,
towards it?
he's looking at you.
Yeah, as he looks at me, I cast invisibility, and then kind of go out towards him and go past him.
All right, so you can move 30 feet after you cast your invisibility.
Yeah.
So you got just on the other side of him. Okay, so you're invisible. You cast invisibility and move just on the other side of him in the street. And now the ogres. So we got an ogre on Grug. -9 again.
I'm -7, so.
Okay, well, you're hit. Damn. And the other ogre actually attacks Ovac. And armor class 8.
Can he move and get to him?
That's a hit.
Yeah, they move pretty far. They can move.
They can outmove a dwarf. I thought this game was realistic.
Little stubby legs, a dwarf in plate mail, clogging along.
I'm not in plate.
I'm sorry, banded mail.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Grug was hit.
Damn, I was hoping I'd make him forget.
16 damage, damn. All right, so now it is Grug's turn. You delayed, so now both ogres are within striking range.
So Grug is going to make 2 attacks this round. One on the one he's been fighting in front of him, and the other one he's going to hit that was attacking Ovac.
Okay, and these are both one-handed now that you have your shield out.
Yep. So -3 on the one in front of me, and -13 on the one for Ovac.
Those would definitely both hit, so go ahead and damage it up.
You really care about me.
Grug does. So the one in front of me takes 11 damage. The one in front of Ovac takes 13 damage.
Okay, so you hit whack, whack. Neither one of them are down.
Damn it. I thought the one in front of me would at least be dead by now.
You
You hit him once for like 40. I've hit him like 3 times for like...
hit him twice. No, you had. That's your third hit on him.
Yeah. I've hit him 3 friggin' times.
Yep, and he's not down. All right, so now it is time for
Son of-
initiative.
7.
9.
12.
15.
It's 15. I don't even know what that is.
So 15. So 15 is lower than 0. So.
Oh.
So 15. So, yeah. So you all want initiative again.
I'm going to make 2 attacks again.
So Grug's going to jump the gun and go twice.
Same
go ahead.
thing.
Same thing.
One in front of me is armor class -9. One in front of Ovac is armor class -3.
Both hits.
So the one in front of me takes 16 damage. The one in front of Ovac takes 18 damage.
Nice.
I'm Brad. They're both dead.
So the one in front of Ovac is not dead. And the one in front of you is not dead. No, it's dead. So the one in front of you, yeah, you hit him again. The 4th hit seems to be the one that does him in. So yeah, he collapses down. The slash across his midsection drops him to the ground.
Okay.
Ovac.
I'm going to attack the one in front of me twice.
Ooh, okay. He's in trouble.
Ooh. That is -12.
Yeah, that's a hit.
And then -4.
That's also a hit.
Okay. And I do 24, 27 damage.
All right, 27 damage. That does him in. 2 smashes, and he bounces back and forth between the 2 hits before falling limply to the ground with a dusty, roaded thud as he hits.
So, I'm going to take my 30 movement and actually move behind him in the Mastodon, but on the
piece
road,
of cake.
on the road, and then I'm going to change it up. Starting from right above his head, lightning bolt.
So you're gonna create a lightning bolt from above his head. And just for the listeners, the way I run lightning bolts is the caster chooses a start point and a direction. So that avoids the shooting it in a line originating from your hand. Never really liked that. It makes it less desirable than a fireball, which you could have occur anywhere. So I let you choose a start point and choose a direction of the lightning bolt, as long as the start point is within the range of the lightning bolt. So, okay, go ahead, Zerosi. So starting above the giant and coming down on him. Oh my God, Yahtzee.
34.
All ones. All right. So 34 base damage. Okay, so it hits Big Johann, hits the Mastodon. Both are still up. And you appear, and Big Johann was looking at the alley. Lightning bolt strikes not from a direction other than above him. So I'm gonna actually see if he notices you, and he does,
Actually, before you went to roll that, I was going to say, as I cast that, I'm just going, "Hey, little Johann."
Ooh.
Okay, so you do, "Hey, little Johann," and you cast a lightning bolt down on him, and he turns around and looks at you. And you see this grin come across his face as you hear the sound of many marching feet behind you. And we'll find out what happens next week.
Oh.
Every time.
that at least for you two especially, one fun thing we could do for maybe it would be to re-record the same thing in the way your character would say it.
All right, take 2 characters.
Welcome to episode 1 of Losers of Initiative. This is a podcast where 4 friends play tabletop RPGs, and we release 1-hour-ish episodes weekly. We want to keep the jibber-jabber to a minimum, so we'll make the intro short and sweet.
Grug and friends wanted to try do something we believe never been done before. Podcast. Just sound fucking...
Are you Yoda?
Yeah. I'm just cutting words out. We gonna play one continuous story.
Now you're like Italian.
Yeah. Boobida.
I grew a mustache
really
between
because
takes.
I didn't write it in the.
It's Grug?
For example,
We play ongoing.
It's Grug, right?
yeah.
I like that you're open. Grug and friend.
Grug and
what
friend.
Try do something we believe no podcast
I'm going
do.
like high pitched, low voice. Hang on. Grug and friend wanted to try and do something we believe has never been done before on a podcast. We're going to try one continuous story. What the fuck?
Now he's and on top of that, he suddenly became really articulate with Grug.
I'm going to do one continuous story.
I feel like that
It's
should
like Dracula
I
Italian.
feel like that should be.
And we make
It's like Dractalian.
Yeah. Romanian.
Well, that's how he's immune to the
and we
garlic
make
now.
the blood and meatballs and spaghetti.
There's an extra blood sauce in this spaghetti
For
sauce.
example. I can't do it.
Instead of continuous, say ongoing or something like.
Yeah, it's tricky to do because he doesn't
He
talk.
wouldn't, he wouldn't say continuous like.
Right.
We no.
Grug and friends wanted to try and do something we believe has never been done before. See, I say it too fast too. Like he talks.
Let me try caveman talk. Grug and friend want to try do something never been done on podcast before.
Yeah, there you go. Nagi, that was a dumb idea. Brad, kick us off. Grug follow Hovac. Ooh, I'm going to do that one again. Hovac! Thank you.
His High Radiance, Owen the First, the Grand Duke of Geoff.
We have been sent by the High Radiant. Owen?
Radiance.
We're on much closer terms. We don't call him High Radiance. It's really
Yeah,
weird.
we've been sent by Owen. I mean,
Gotten her reprimanded or something because she is now no longer on the floor.
gotcha. Okay, so
Nice job, Nate. Killed us all.
kick this dude's ass.
How dare you do what the DM clearly wanted us to do?
Yeah. We're about to make Big Johann little...
John?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. I was going to try and go Johann backwards.
Little John. See, because that's
gotcha.
like
Yeah,
from Robin Hood.
I'm with you.
Turn him into a rapper.
Yeah.
Okay. What?
Yeah.
Okay, so as I see the ogres coming towards me, I just yell at Johann. I challenge you, Johann, not your minions. If you do not have the cojones.
You could say balls.
Yeah, but I feel bad for saying balls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's lawful good here.
Okay.
If you do not have the cojones to... Yeah,
The corn haze.
How about you just say balls?
fine. If you do not have the balls to attack me on your own, and we settle this man to man,